We do hope to achieve the exalted goal. Question for an active workshop: how can we cause the to dwell between us in the T? Again, how can we cause the to dwell between us in the 10? Active workshop: causing the to dwell among us. The fact that we have this common goal to reach Lishma. Active works to be constantly in a direction toward that, to bring contentment to the Creator, to create that same common CLEQ that among us is what will cause us to come to that same success, to that same special connection. We have to make room for it, and it's in our effort towards love, towards connection and support, and also in that that deficiency of connection between us, to the most important thing that we raise it in importance each and every day, from something unimportant to something that is the most important thing in our lives. Yes, as we learn from the upper one, there are no limitations. We're only expected to build the right vessel. So let's build together the vessel so that we can demand this revelation, and then it will come. Yes, we need to add in prayer to the Creator to help us be as one man with one heart in a deficiency, to add in prayer and in this exerion, so that all the friends will be in this exerion to connect in a deficiency, to connect. Yes, we all came from our putting the heart with a big deficiency, and we have to open the heart, and opening the heart is not just listening to the friend, but also allowing the friend to hear me and become incorporated with the desire for adhesion and bestow. Our spiritual life is that the extent to which we give each other strength and importance of the goal, because without that we fall, and with that we wish to connect, and from that we feel a need for the upper force to come, because only it can do that, to adhere us between us and to it, and we want to be active about it. The Creator will dwell among us only if we will be in the right demand for this quality to appear in us, only when we'll have a true need, this force, to have this force for the world, that we will truly need it, that He won't be able to tell us no, as Sean said, until my sons have defeated me, to be in our vote in all these efforts. And our entire method is around love of friends, and through the love of friends to reveal the Creator, so all the efforts are in love. So let's think about how such a vessel looks like, how such a looks like, what kind of our root, what kind of connection, what kind of mutual prayer needs to be between us and the Creator, so that we are worthy vessel for Him to dwell in. I don't know if I have what to add, but we'll simply add in patience and strengthening each other. Need a lot of patience. Second source excerpt from Rabash. It is written in the multitude of people is the King's glory. It follows that the greater number of the collective, the more effective is the power of the collective. In other words, they produce a stronger atmosphere of greatness and importance of the Creator. At that time, each person's body feels that he regards anything that he wishes to do for holiness, meaning to bestow upon the Creator, as a great fortune that he has been privileged with, being among people who have been rewarded with serving the King. At that time, every little thing he does fills him with joy and pleasure, that now he has something with which to serve the King, to the extent that the society regards the greatness of the Creator with their thoughts during the assembly. Each according to his degree originates the importance of the Creator in him, thus he can walk all day in the world of gladness and joy. Again, it is written in the multitude of people is the King's glory. It follows that the greater the number of the collective, the more effective is the power of the collective. In other words, they produce a stronger atmosphere of greatness and importance of the Creator. At that time, each person's body feels that he regards anything that he wishes to do for holiness, meaning to bestow upon the Creator, as a great fortune that he has been privileged with, being among people who have been rewarded with serving the King. At that time, every little thing he does fills him with joy and pleasure, that now he has something with which to serve their King, to the extent that this society regards the Creator, the greatness of the Creator with their thoughts during the assembly. Each according to his degree originates the importance of the Creator. in him. Thus he can walk all day in the world of gladness and joy. Question for an active workshop. Share with the joy from the creator's work in the CH. 10. Share with joy from the creator's work in the 10. The joy is the opportunity to make an effort to connect. The creator wants us to come to an attack as one man with one heart, to keep praying and do it with a the quiet smile. Yeah, it's nothing like the Latin friends. Every time we're sitting here on the focus group, they're always doing the preparation for the more or less with a warm heart. They're really an example of how the difference between us comes to expression and connection. I heard from RAV recently that if you're not different, you don't connect, because connection is what we rise above the differences with. And yes, the joy is created from the good spirit that we share among each other, but beyond that we have the revelation of the to all people, which is very lacking. It's very lacking this quality of bestow for everyone. So let's hit the guas and do that for everyone. First, I'll say it's a very important thing to share this joy among the friends, because it gives us fuel to work to appreciate this state that we have a tea, that we have a study, that we have the creator who allows us to get closer to him and always be in a state of ascent. Never allow friends to delve into their egos, but just to inject life in everyone and remind everyone about the privilege that we have, the joy of serving the creator. Whether we go up or down doesn't matter. We get closer. We need to be proud and happy in that we've been chosen to be on this path. As Rush writes, other than that we need to be happy, and that we are together on the path. We're doing that same special work against the ego, the efforts in prayer, the demand for that reforming light, and we do that as a 10. Alone nobody can do that, nobody can be constant in that, no one can succeed in that, but precisely us as a 10 work through that, in which each and every one of us gives their effort. We can create a huge common force that can battle against the ego, a common force that can truly reach a prayer to the creator. So that is the method of how, that is the reason for which we have come here. The 10 is really a gift that can give us something beyond this life, and we truly have a great joy and privilege. Therefore, we need to be grateful to the creator who gave us this privilege, who placed us from the lowest place in our lives, and also in the highest place by being in the 10. That is a place where we can be together to build a vessel by which we can reveal him and to bestow to him what could be higher than that of the friend's creator. We ask you to help us enter into a connection with one heart and feel you every moment. Creator, we ask you to help us enter into a connection with one heart and feel you every moment. Hello, we are reading from Introduction to the Study of the Tea. We're on item 104. Study material is available at Kabak Group. In first, and also the system. You can ask questions through those platforms. Anyone who's in the study hall and wishes to ask a question, please stand up, hold the mic close to your mouth and speak loudly and clearly. Introduction to the Study of the Tea by Bassam. Item 104. 104. It has been thoroughly clarified how it is possible to attain the first degree of love, which is conditional love. We learned that even though there is no reward for a mitzvah in this world, the attainment of the reward for the mitzvah exists also in this world. This comes to a person by opening the eyes in the Torah, and this clear attainment is completely similar to receiving instantaneous reward for the mitzvah. For this reason, one feels the wonderful benefit contained in the thought of creation to delight his creatures with his full good and generous hand, because of the abundance of benefit that one obtains. Wondrous love appears between a person and the creator, cast to him incessantly by the same ways and channels through which natural love appears. Okay. Yes, thank you. Good morning. Arhi writes, how can we be awarded with the first degree of love, which is called conditional love? It's as if an attitude brings about an attitude at some point, and the question is, how do we not fall into that where some feeling comes in the 10 from connecting, from work especially. On the incorporation that is now happening, how can we hold on to that? First, degree if it's really a situation where the attitude brings the attitude. Then how do we hold on to that intention together? That we begin to feel in the 10 the importance of connection, that it is essentially the opening through which we enter the love of the Creator. So we have to guard that, we have to guard it and develop it more and more. I can see how that the Creator always gives us this additional opportunity, how that blanket of love covers us. I can see how the importance is a vessel for the protection of what we attain. I can see the lack in the understanding of the importance of the society, the path, the Creator. Yes, we need to focus on that, on the greatness. Yes, I want to repeat Bam's question. If I'm understanding correctly, he says that there is no reward for the mitzvah in this world, but it says in any case you are destined to reveal among yourselves through the natural ways that there is a kind reward, that a person feels love in the 10, good in the 10. That's reward. So what does it mean that there is no reward? He has to yearn for what we call opening the eyes in the Torah, and opening the eyes already takes him for further. So it's not natural love, it's a different love. It isn't what we used to, that's right in the relationship between us. So how do we hold on to the faith above the natural feeling of love that reveals in the T or the group? Person imagines to himself this situation where he is with the Creator in an open relationship to each other, and then the Creator shows the person how much he loves him, and by that a person can develop the same kind of love towards the Creator. So basically everything depends on revealing the Creator, opening up the Creator, how open he is towards the person, and then we need to hold on to that opening. Yes, is that the prayer that constantly needs to be there. Yes, without it we can't do anything. More questions? Yeah, I also wanted to ask about that. When he says that this wonderful love reveals to him that is incessant and comes into those tubes of natural love, what does it mean by natural love? Does it mean egoistic love? Yes, as usual when one loves another, so the person reveals the love of the Creator in his will to receive. What does it mean that it's in the same paths and ways just as he has towards a friend, but in order to reveal the love of the Creator, does the person not need to invert his nature into a desire to be? Yes, so why does he say that it's by the same ways and channels through which natural love appears? Basically the feelings are the same feelings that a person loves the other, and so he's drawn to the other, he wants to be close to the other, he's drawn to be with him all the time. Do a Kabbalist feel his relationship to the Creator like a relationship to someone close more than that? Thanks. Okay, what is opening the eyes in the Torah? Opening the eyes in the Torah means that behind each word and between the words in the Torah it all opens up to a person. What exactly opens? What opens up? Basically nothing else is needed besides the relationship between man and the Creator. And when you say that it opens to him between the words, the Torah is not just between the words, it's not just before a text. Yes, but still the text itself, the letters, all kinds of marks, it all becomes revealed to a person, is altogether open up the picture of the connection. What reward is felt by a person in such a state? The reward is opening the eyes in the Torah, that he feels the relationship of the Creator to him, and he can express his relation to the Creator and be with him face to face. So if the reward is only spiritual, how does it influence a person in this world? The reward is not, it's not that it only works spiritually. A person feels it in all of his being. How does it influence one's reality in this world? The feeling of spiritual reward. He sees how the Creator dresses into the whole world. And what is the feeling of reward in this world and the feeling of reward in the next world? Why is here attainment and there it's really reward? The attainment of man in this world opens up to him the pathways, the sources through which to be connected to the Creator in all kinds of ways and in all kinds of states, and that's it. That's the main thing when a person sees behind all of his life. He sees the Creator, he connects to the Creator through all sorts of phenomena that surface in him as he studies the Torah. That feeling is that precisely at the time of the study of the Torah, yes, and how can we add each day more and more to the rewards to feel that reward, more to feel the Creator, is through exercises done in the 10. We don't have more where to labour, but only in the connection between us, making the connection between us as similar as possible to our relation to the Creator, as the Creator relates to us, and get closer and move closer to that. So the Exerian is in the 10 in exercises and efforts of connection in the 10. That is the main thing. And where is that finding? Where is the feeling of reward? In the same place there, inside the connection they build between everyone in the 10. Inside that connection they will discover to the presence of the Creator. What can yes more said here, that the first degree of love. So I think that he comes to that through Lishma, through for the sake of where Creator. He said that it is love that is seemingly conditional. If it's love, then how can it be conditional? That is one question. And the second question is, if it's conditional love, then what is it conditional upon to reach that first degree of love? It still depends on how the Creator relates to him, what he receives in connection with the Creator, and that's a problem, because he needs to reach a state where he truly yearns and connects and unites with the Creator without any difference between the form of connection between them. Meaning the first entrance to Lishma is that still in some state that he's from the previous state from Lishma. It's a certain kind of middle point transition place. Yes, there's also such a transition place. That's what he means here by that. By conditional, okay. Yes, if a person comes to a state of there is none else besides him, where he says that upon the whole of the reality that the Creator manages, it does that bring him immediately to a place where he can say that the Creator is good, that does good, sees that through his relationship with the Creator, that the Creator is good, that does good. But the question is, the perception is that the Creator governs the whole of reality and the same through all of reality. And can that happen partially, where a person says there is none else besides him on some individual state, and he also says that he is good, that does good upon that? It's written that he attains that the Creator is good, that does good to the good ones and to the bad ones, and that he feels himself in the world of the Creator. The question is it only at the end of correction, or can it be in each and every state he enters this sensation and develops this sensation from beginning to end? Let's say in the 10 we can build a state where we can say there is none else besides him, and that he is good, that does good. Yes, you said that the connection between us and with the Creator does not need to be conditional on anything, that I need to always express my attitude to the Creator. What does it mean to express my attitude to the Creator all the time? Love, how do I express that to the Creator? Is it through the friends? Yes, that you want to be connected to the Creator. Without the friends, you can't be connected at all. So you want to be connected with the Creator through all of the broadest possibilities you have, and that means that you're working from within the 10, and this way through the 10. This is called me for my beloved, and my beloved for me, that you develop with the Creator a mutual deep broad embrace and connection. I want to ask another question from the excerpt. Can I write? Yes, he writes that feels the wonderful benefit contained in the thought of creation to light his creatures with his full good and generous hand, because of the abundance of benefit that one obtains. Wondrous love appears between a person and the Creator. It pours to him incessantly by the same ways and channels through which natural love is, and he says that you suddenly reveal that. What does it mean? I just want to share with a feeling We came to the preparation for the lesson we felt between the friends. Really joy that here we are coming here together. How do we interpret that feeling? What does it mean? How to interpret the feeling that comes to you that I can't do, but there's what he writes that a connection of love develops between man and the Creator, and man has to, and a person has to develop it to continue developing it in the 10. Why am I asking that? Because at the end of it all, everything we develop in the relations between us, we aim for a common effort, and we aim all the time through what you direct us and what the society directs us, and through the material that we study, we go toward a certain goal. For example, now in 3 months we have a convention and we want to reach Lish by then, and you suddenly see that the importance of the goal between us is bigger and greater. Does it come from that in which we influence each other in this environment we're in here in the society? And secondly, how does that influence the individual in the 10? It's the same thing, it's one and the same, yes, same thing. We wish that in every address that we make to the Creator and in connection with the Creator, understanding the Creator, that this will be revealed in us as much as possible. Hello, that's it, okay, yeah. What conditional love sounds very egoistic. I love someone because I don't know, they give me something, I feel something from them. How could it be that that is spirituality? How could it be that that is bestow? It's a stage where the person develops his connection with the Creator. I can understand that in order to reach unconditional love we need to go through stages, but how could it be that that is already in spirituality? That's what I don't succeed to understand. What here is bestow? If it's conditional love, I love Rai because he brings me things I don't know. Doesn't matter what is spiritual in that. How could it be spirituality if I depend my love on something that he gives me? I cannot understand that, but it can't be. Look, it has been clarified how it's possible to marry the first degree of love, which is conditional love, because we know that even though there's no reward in this world, that the attainment of the reward of the mitzvah also exists in this world, which brings man the opening of the eyes in the soul. This is where we begin, that you feel that you receive from the Creator so much good and progress towards the goal, entrance to eternity. All of that sounds egoistic, however, but this is the degree that is as an entrance to the true progress, and that is a spiritual degree. It's not a degree inish, right? That's the degree we're speaking about now, the first degree, after which there is the degree of unconditional love. Yes, can you explain how? I ask you differently. Describe to me a situation where a person from this world becomes a spiritual person without this transition. I completely understand that we need to go through that degree, but I'm asking, how can that already be the revelation of the Creator? How can that already be spirituality? The person changes, he sees spiritual gods before him. Question. That's the point. There is a connection here with the Creator. RAV. Yes. Question. You love me, I love you. That's the connection. RV. Question. That's the definition here of love. So if you give me, I give you. So what is spiritual? Here the world is full of people who are busy with doing things for the Creator all the time, because he'll give them something. He'll give me the next world. He'll give me here and there. That is called conditional love. So what is everyone in spirituality, or in the first degree of spirituality? No it's a transition stage. It's between the state that is now and the state that will be. Question. I don't understand. If it is conditional love, then I don't understand how that is spirituality, how that is bestow. Well, you don't know the spiritual definition. It's a definition that comes from our state and all the way to the final correction. All right, good. Let's continue. Good morning. The Creator wants to become revealed in our desire to bestow. I very much want to reveal Him, but from the receive, or whether in this point they desire to reveal Him, but egoistically. How from here do we draw the reforming light? By studying to being among the friends that you change, calibrate the form of connection and purpose of connection and essence of connection between you and the 10, and bit by bit you invert that you. Transform that connection in the 10 to a vessel to that reveals the new spiritual state, meaning these are the exercises, because everyone can say that they're in that state of I want, and we do these exercises in order to draw the reforming light. It's the realization. Yes. Gillette, I'll try to relate to A's questions for a moment. Let's say the difference that between spirituality and corporality in this thing is that the creator being important and not the gift that he gift. Yes, of course. And now the question stands that he gives gifts, and how can we hold the connection with him is more important than the feeling that the creator gives the gifts. What holds that connection as being more important than the gifts themselves? That the gifts don't become primary, but the connection becomes primary. Said a person is in the 10 and they hold him, they obligate him to be in such a connection that he, like everyone in the 10, ties himself to the 10. The connection itself with the 10 is pleasure. Why is it? Pleasure could be the opposite. Commitment, labor, meaning the connection is a value in and of itself that is independent of the feelings that come from it. I don't understand that. What is the connection in the 10? Which makes it a vessel for the creator's revelation, that a person connects with his friends who are all aimed at reaching their goal, and they are moving closer to revealing the creator in the connection between them in order to bestow. So reveals there in the 10 is the creator. Yes, but what is the connection itself? How can we speak about the connection itself? What is it? The connection itself is that each one sees the other as the closest to him, the closest to him in that same desire, tendency, direction. Yes, so you can say that that is emotion. Intellect, it's something else. Yes. Feeling and emotion and mind. How can we feel a screen in the 10? I don't know. See you, we say that the creator reveals through their screen. He doesn't write about it here. So what's asking is, why is it called spiritual? Why is that connection called spiritual? Spiritual means not in order to receive. Can yes. In relation to the gift from the creator. What is the correct attitude? What is the feeling that a person should feel when he receives a gift from the creator? I didn't understand the question. When a person receives a gift from the creator, yes, what is the emotion that a person should feel? Joy feels like when you receive a gift, and from whom you receive the gift, and what the giver wants to express in that a person feels all that, and that glues him to the creator. Should he also feel shame? Because if he got that gift from connection with the creator, I don't know, it doesn't say that here, that he should simply be in joy and connected to him. Will discover and see. How can't you understand that it's a process? It's a process. You're all trying to cut it into slices and make it all understandable and clear. It's correct, but that's not how it happens. It's an emotional matter. More no, so let's continue. Onwards. Item 105. However, all this comes to a person from the moment he attains onward, yet one does not want to remember all the torment caused by the providence in concealment of the face he had suffered before he attained the above disclosure of the face, since love will cover all crime. Nevertheless, it is considered a great flaw even with love among people, much less concerning the truthfulness of his providence, since he is good and does good to the good and to the bad. Therefore must understand how one can obtain his love in such a way that he will know and feel that the Creator has always done him wondrous good since he was born onward, that he has never nor will ever cause him an ounce of harm, which is the second manner of love. Yes, understood. Read again. Item 105. However, all this comes to a person from the moment he attains onward, yet one does not want to remember all the torment caused by the providence in concealment of the face he had suffered before he attained the above disclosure of the face, since love will cover all crimes. Nevertheless, it is considered a great flaw even with love among people, much less concerning the truthfulness of his providence, since he is good and does good to the good and to the bad. Therefore, we must understand how one can obtain his love in such a way that he will feel and know that the Creator has always done him wondrous good since he was born onward, that he has never nor will ever cause him an ounce of harm, which is the second manner of love. Yes, yesterday when we read that paragraph in that section, that item, in the 10 we got this question, why can we feel suffering in the concealment of the face? Basically, suffering man doesn't have to feel it in any moment if he is engaged with the Torah, where he exactly studies the Torah and tries to practice it in himself, then he would have no suffering. Now that's the ideal. In practice it turns out that a person feels some suffering from that in which he is in the concealment of the face, from that is seemingly opposite from the Creator, and if not specifically in these vessels, and afterward he reveals that revelation. Yes, another question: if a person wants to forget that he had such states, why is that considered a flaw? Meaning, if I suffered and then in those same vessels after a correction I feel a revelation, seemingly, then why is that considered a flaw? We have vessels, our vessels are the will to receive, we have to reach the correction of the will to receive, where it corrects itself and changes himself to bestowing. And then in all of his vessels we say that one feels a great pleasure from the revelation of the Creator. Therefore it's not possible that a person stays in any feeling of a gram of suffering or pain or anything. It all has to become filled with unbounded eternal pleasure, completely understandable. He writes that the person wants to forget the fact that he once felt suffering, meaning that he remembers it, meaning that he once felt it at this stage. Yes, for now, yes. He speaks about conditional love and unconditional love. Love with a condition is that the Creator relates well to me, and love that's unconditional is that the Creator relates to me good, and therefore I love him. That's conditional love. And now, unconditional love is seemingly in the concealment of the face. I continue loving him. How is that desire to transition from the desire of conditional love to unconditional love? Is in that I'm supposed to sacrifice the world to be in a war, that I am in the darkness, and upon it I build constantly a greater darkness, greater blackness, more war in my world, in order to show that I want to transition from conditional love to unconditional love. How do we do that? What is the solution? So that I will not sacrifice the world all the time in order to not enter a state where I show that I do not want to be dependent on that good that comes from the Creator. What does it mean that I go from good to good without that in which I need to enter a war? This all depends on how much you want to be in the future state only. That I understand the future state, I understand the future state, that I don't have a problem with that I seemingly need. Here a good soldier needs a war in order to show that he's carrying out the commands, that the king is important to him, that he's battling with all of his might. So he answers you simply about this until you feel that the Creator does only good to you and in every state. Then, and you're not completing the stage you're in, he tells you at yes to the good, to the bad. They said at once that you need bread and have salt. Yes, I don't know what it is, a seeper or a shell. I don't know that thing where I always need to show that I'm suffering all kinds of pain in order to express my love. Why do I need to sacrifice that state where the Creator is good, that does good to the good and to the bad, in order for me to exert this good feeling from the Creator? How do you do it if you have no sorrow? But it's me always sacrificing my world in order to prove that I need to find myself in a state where state of suffering, so that I can show that I'm meeting that condition, that I'm doing it. So yes, I'm asking what's the exit from this trap where I don't sacrifice my world in order to prove that I want to be in that with it unconditionally. How do I receive good without sacrificing the current world? That doesn't work. It doesn't work, no. Also logically, if you don't destroy the previous world, then how could it be that you rise above it to the next degree. Is that called an incarnation? What is it? No, it's not incarnation, it's just that you don't accept such a form of a creator who appears to you because he doesn't become revealed to you in this degree as good that does good now. He reveals it to me in the next degree as good that does good. That's okay. The degree of faith when I'm adhered to the next degree, that is the faith that truly works on me. But in this world, what I create in this action is complete destruction. I need to be in a war as in the desert in order for me to prove that he is good that does good, and that I am a worker of the creator. I don't think that's right. First of all, you can't based on your nature, so why are you expecting that from above? You'll get such conditions that you'll be able to ruin the world to receive. I don't destroy it, but I always need to enter the state where you eat bread and salt and water, drink water, that in order to show that I can rise above that condition if I receive a lot. So I seemingly move that away, and I work only on my life of necessities. We need to move forward. A month ago on item 76 he spoke about these things, and there he explained that conditional love is a person in relation to his friend that he feels that he only did good to him, yes, but if he would show him an attitude of his friend to others as bad, he would not be able to justify it. Because of that it is called conditional. Unconditional love, he explains there in item 72 that he can tilt the whole world to a scale of merit where the whole world, the good and the bad, he relates well to them that force, yes, so in relation to he doesn't need to go back to curse the creator to sacrifice what he attained. God forbid, because he justifies the creator in the vessels that he had before that. But still he needs in some place to find a deficiency, because without a deficiency he has no way of being in connection with a creator. So it seems that here's where the question is on that transition. He already justifies the creator in every state. If the creator shows him that he is good and benevolent to everyone, then he will fall from the degree. That's what he explains in item 72. Yes, so that transition he will need in any case some deficiency. He has to see the entire world in a positive way. Without it he can't complete the correction, so his connection to the whole world will give him new vessels to work with. Yes, not understood what Balaam says here, because we learn that the whole fulfillment comes from the deficiency, as it is written, the advantage of the light precisely from the darkness. So what is the special attitude that he wants to explain on this point? He writes, how can a person be rewarded with love of the creator on that point where he feels that he, the creator, did only good to him all days of his life, and he did not cause him any bad? Yes, he speaks about benefit fulfillment, and that it touches on a place of death, on something that was not that way beforehand. So what does he actually say here? I do not understand these discernments. I don't understand your question. Does there need to be a deficiency before fulfillment? Of course the deficiency is felt as bad, yes. So what is he saying here? It's not a complete thing. The deficiency can't be felt as bad only in one thing, it's the longing in the loved one, but the degree before it there are scrutinies that bring a person to that desire longing. What is with that time? Because we are born where the evil inclination, it's evil from his youth. So where is the entire development? Where does it exist? Development of what? Of the will to receive towards the yes. When he reaches a corrected form, he says that the creator never caused him any torment at all. Yes, so where is such a reality? Still ahead of us. Where are you reading? I'm reading item 105, the second paragraph. Accordingly, we should understand, how can a person merit this level where he discovers that the creator did only good to him and never caused a gram of anything bad, which is the second aspect of love. Yes, so can we explain what Bam wishes to explain to us here? 106. To understand this we need the words of our sages. They said, one who repents from Love his sins become his merits. It means that not only does the Creator forgive his sins, he also turns each sin and transgression he had made into a mitzvah. Yes, so what's the problem? Here, the transgressions become merits. How? By the light that reforms. Who does that? The Creator. When does he do it? When a person comes to this repentance from love, he comes to such a feeling that he can't receive from the Creator anything bad. He doesn't believe, that he doesn't think, that it doesn't exist for him. I don't know how to explain that, but that's essentially what happens to the person, and then all of the transgressions he as if doesn't believe them, and they become as merits. Yes, if I understand, transgression means that a person works against the Creator, not just against the Creator. Also in our world there is a matter of a sin, yes, but works against something, someone, and merits is the opposite. What the opposite of transgression, and he writes here that the Creator turns the transgressions to merits. How can that be? Yes, that something bad of done suddenly becomes good. I cannot say how it happens, but it happens so a person sees that the bad things he had done were actually good things. I don't know. Let's see. First foremost, does he explain something about it? No. Yes, I also want to ask before we move forward, just to stay on this for a second. When he says that the Creator only did good to him since he was born, and he did nothing bad to him since ever, how can then can you say that the Creator didn't even do a bad thing to him if the person felt bad at certain times? Yes, certainly so. There was a reality of bad, so there was such a reality of evil, of bad. So how can he say that the Creator never did any gram of bad to him? He did. Yes, so why do we say the Creator didn't do anything bad to him? The Creator did something bad. Let's see, we'll come to that. Where are you reading now? I'm reading in 105, the end of the last paragraph. Yes. Okay. Can maybe, in order to understand that, maybe we can give the example of the kid who wants to touch his eye with a needle with a pin to scratch, but that the kid doesn't understand what all that he could hurt himself. Okay. Yes, if we can try to understand the connection between the work in the 10 and man's attitude to the Creator in the situations in life. Yeah. We said that the Creator close into the situations in life, and the person has a feeling and he needs to arrange the relation to him. We live today in a reality with a lot of grief and loss and pain and sorrow, and how can a person in the work in the tea by getting closer to the friends, how does that change his attitude to the Create, to what the Creator brings to the events of life? So it's like there is one state we're talking about, none else besides him. There's an upper force that rules all of reality, the thought of creation. That is good, that does good, that leads you on the path, and you have to discover his attitude and rearrange your attitude so that lives in one place, and as if in another place there's the work in the 10, the relationship that you have to bring the friend closer to yourself, feel him as the closest to you, and so forth. How do these two places come together, influence each other? That is how reality appears before us. On one hand, it's the force of the Creator, which is good, that does good to the good and to the bad, and only in good does he do everything. If he does everything in good, so how can you check? What can you check with? So you need upon all that every moment of your life to say that if it is not completely good, really, like in the end of correction, that is you who lowered that state in your feeling to a bad one. Okay, correct. Now how does that have to do with the work in the 10? How does it have to do with man's relation to the friends now that you have the end of correction, which is the best possible state in your state, and the two of those? So you need to try to climb from the state you are now in your feeling to the state of the end of correction. Perhaps I now feel a situation in life the Creator gave it to me, and I feel it as bad. I work in the 10 on connection between us. As a result of that, I aim myself, and I'll feel his attitude as good, cause we say that the place of the labor is in the 10. I don't have a how to, a reason to change my attitude to the life events I'm going through there. You can to try with your Wife actually there it's kind of, but opposite there. Friend. What action can I do today so that I can say tomorrow now? He's closer to me, a feeling in the heart, but feeling is something that's very malleable, changeable. It states this. To tomorrow it's that feeling just tells you how much you are, still how much you still have not directed yourself at that you need to climb upon yourself, and after that climbing then you'll be able to feel more accurately where it was from yesterday to tomorrow. What is this zeroing point? This zeroing point, how do you set something that you bring yourself to the feeling of a zero, neither to one nor to the other, but in the middle, between good and bad in relation to the friends? I don't want to enter that, because I see that there is no you need to try to work according to what is written. What was now written for us? No. Well, what did we just read? We read item 104 until 106. Well, read 104. It has been thoroughly CL verified how it's possible to attain the first degree of love, which is conditional love. We learned that even though there is no reward for a mitzvah in this world, the attainment of the reward for the mitzvah exists also in this world. This comes to a person by opening the eyes in the toe, and this clear attainment is completely similar to receiving instantaneous reward for this reason one feels the wonderful benefit contained in the thought of creation to delight his creatures with his full good and generous hand. Because of the abundance of benefit that one obtains, wondrous love appears between a person and the creature. It pours to him incessantly by the same ways and channels through which natural love appears. No, so there's nothing to ask about that. No, so next. What? Our conditional love is not something whole, it's something that has basically a lot of lack of truth, because you know you're not in the last state, but there are many conditions, and then when there's doubts and there's lot of lack of wholeness in the conditional love. Yes, so also when Rabash writes in his letter, after I attained the garment of love, he talks about connections, feelings of connection between him and the friends, until the final state, he says, is that the I is also swallowed and immersed in the friends, and there is no I. There's just one thing, and also when you would draw equivalence of form, you would show two circles, and they're that first. They're far, then they overlap, then they become one, so there's no me and him, and so, and the same thing with bonds of love. There's a state at the end, let's say, that two feel as one, which is yes independent of anything, but the state where there is connection between love, but that love includes many calculations. What I get from him, what he did to me, what I did to him, if that is very incomplete, and if the whole state doesn't stand in front of your eyes, it's unbearable. What do you want to say? I want to say understand the connection between us. In the 10, if I work in bringing myself closer to the friends, but I also have some calculations with them. How much will I get? How much will it do good to me? How much will I get spirituality from that? That is not a whole state. Maybe how can I bring this whole state to our connection in the tent? How can I bring a whole state to our connection so that we are truly as one man in one heart, that as will be upon us? How do you reach that state where you live in the complete state? You want love between you to be without any conditions, right? Simply unconditional love. What do we need to do to reach that state? To constantly think about that and to pray to the Creator so that He will help us reach such love. Yes, women have from Latin one, and women have two. They are asking what are the conditions to receive the Creator is good, that does good. What needs to happen in the person? The person needs to have a desire to reveal the Creator as good, that does good to the good and to the bad. In old states, what purifies the vessels to be worthy of revelation of their faith? Study and prayer. From USA Midwest they ask, I heard that spiritual is not in order to receive. Does that mean we need to have to be in constant restriction? No, only where we feel that here can be a break through into my will to receive. From above so there I perform a restriction I. Close the vessel from women Turkey S is asking if I see that everything is good what is. The work that I do what should be my request in that state if I feel good. So I want to relate it to the Creator. That He illuminates to me in such a way and I am grateful to Him from women one they asked I heard that it was said that everything depends on the opening of the Creator how open He is to the person what does that depend on the opening of the Creator to the person depends on the extent by which the person is open to the Creator I am for my beloved and my beloved is mine she asks more what is special about the connection in the 10 that the Creator loves in the person Creator loves in the person the yearning of the person to reach and embrace with the whole of humanity. It's written that He's good to the bad and to the good who are the bad are those who are distant and good are those who are close to the Creator is that all thank you. Okay, no more questions so we'll continue. What else do we have duty? You said something before I didn't understand. You said the reset point or zeroing point is that you bring yourself to a sense of zero, not neither this nor that, let's say, between good and bad. Yes, what exactly is that state? It's neither good nor bad. A person is really in nothing like a baby. Why does he need to bring himself to such a state that from that point onward he can measure where he is in relation to the friends, the Creator, the world? How can there be such a state of zero? In reality, we learn that there's the advantage of light from darkness. There's always some attitude to something, so what does it mean? But you always need to seek that point, to see that what it means to you, because certainly it is all relative. So what is that point where there is no nothing relative like that? What is the zero point? There's no such point. It's in order for you to find your zero. How do I find it? What did we speak about that? A person needs to bring himself to that feeling of zero when he is neither good nor bad in middle. Yes, how does he bring himself to that? How does he reset himself or zero himself? In the wisdom of Kabbalah we do that, but in any case you can say that it is relative. In the wisdom of Kabbalah we read that the person needs to come to a state where he submits himself toward everyone, toward the friends, toward the whole world, and from that point onward he can rise to the Creator, the state of complete render towards everyone. That's what it means to reset yourself, to bring yourself to the state of a zero. But you cannot do that. How would you know? Okay, so I'm asking, what is that point of zero that one needs to and is able to do something about towards it? I don't know how to explain it, but it's really impossible to do once. Kabbalists went to all kinds of places. They enters there into the inner work. I don't want to get into that. It's not according to the method. So what is our method? Our method is only the society. Through a small society, one needs to build oneself to become a friend in the world group. And what am I longing for in the group? Yearning for. Yes, I want to discover the good. I want to discover the good and not the bad. What am I trying? You have to bestow through a small society to give contentment to the Creator. Thank you. Yet the way to love, which is such a desired thing all over the world, why do we have to go through subjugation, annulment, resetting, zeroing yourself? Why does it have to be there? Otherwise you won't feel that love. Why? Because all right. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to continue to read item 106. I'm sorry. 105. However, all this comes to a person from the moment he attains onward, yet one does not want to remember all the torments caused by providence and concealment of the face he had suffered before he attained the above disclosure of the face, since love will cover all crimes. Nevertheless, it's considered a great flaw even with love among people, much less concerning the truthfulness of his providence, since he is good and does good to the good and to the bad. Therefore, we must understand how can one obtain his love in such a way that he will feel and know that the Creator has always done him wondrous good since he was born, onward that he has never nor will any ever cause him an ounce of harm, which is the second manner of love. Yes, clear, it's clear what he writing. What I wanted to ask when he writes that. This all comes from the moment he attains. Onward, what exactly is defined as attainment for a person? Well, for man is what he feels that he gets. For a mere creature, according to that, he simply, yes, if a person feels like he's receiving from the creature, then it's called attainment, meaning you only define attainment in relation to that. Yeah, what about all the conditions around that lead a person to attainment? That could be around the attainment, it could be wisdom, all kinds of states, but it's not defined as attainment. Nope, maybe I'll ask it differently. And what stage does a person become ripe, ready for attainment? That when he already has the vessels for it, that he can discover the revelation of the Creator's actions towards him in a way, in the correct way. And how do we obtain such vessels that you can start relating correctly to the Creator? Only the Creator, where can you attain vessels? You don't have anything else besides them, so where here is the attainment, because he gives you the vessels, you attain it, attain him in reality. So what remains of a person if he does everything upon you? Everything that's revealed is revealed in our relation towards the Creator, none else besides him. That's why we should only be aimed towards him, and he's the one we want to be connected to in this process. When a person enters the reality of none else besides him, what is in the hands of a person? What is the labor of a person to enter this reality? If eventually the Creator gives you these vessels, the person's relation is prayer, a request and preparing itself. That's the place at, I don't know if they call it the free, but the only place where a person can operate. The place of prayer. Yes, thank you, RK. The answer talked about in this attainment that we scrutinized, where a person feels that the Creator is giving everything to him. Yet this second providence is something a person attains, or is it love he gives back to the Creator? That's an answer that a person attains. It's still not love. He defines it as the second manner of love, where transgressions become merits, and he also says that it's the revelation of their face. Yeah, and then the repentance is that he receives on one hand, but he has to give back somehow. Yeah, is it some kind of inclusive closed system? Yeah, do it remain permanent, or can he, God forbid, retreat from there? No, it's a permanent state. Thank you. What are we doing? We're going to move to the next part of the lesson and sing a song. First, doesn't matter where we came from, nation, tongue, or land, heart to heart we sing this song, marching hand in hand, one by one. We're entering the palace of the King, side by side in harmony. We sing here, we are embracing, we have gathered here again. Say goodbye to TR, for to pain come, and see your brothers reach and touch your soul all day in happiness. We call you, made it, how great now you're here. We made it, and there's no more. Here we made it, and love will fill our voice. All this one, we are ready to rejoice. You made it, how great now you're here. We made it, and there's no more. Here we made it, and love will fill our voice. All is one, we are ready to reg. Lan, you made it, how great now you're here. We made it, and there's no more. You, we made it, and love will K our voice. All this one, we are ready to rejo. You made it, how great now you're here. We made it, and there's no more. Fee, we made it, and love will F our voice. All this one, we are ready to reg. We're reading select excerpts from the sea on the topic of the verge of, and we are in excerpt number 4. From letters, from the written notes. From rash one must receive the power to work from the upper one, since the low one is powerless to begin the work, but only in the form of ish called will to receive, for only the lish gives the first moving force of the lower one. For when a person does not find sufficient flavour in corporeal pleasure, he begins to search for spiritual pleasures. It follows that the root of the work of the lower one is the will to receive, and the prayer called man rises up, and then the upper one corrects this man and places on it the power of the M, the screen, which is a desire to delay the abundance before the lower one knows about himself that his aim is to bestow, that is the upper one bestows upon the low one good taste and pleasure in the desire to bestow again, except for one must receive the power to work from the upper one, since the lower one is powerless to begin the work, but only in the form of called will to receive, for only the lishma gives the first moving force of the lower one, for when a person does not find sufficient flavor in corporeal pleasures, he begins to search for spiritual pleasures. It follows that the root of the work of the lower one is the will to receive, and the prayer called man rises up, and then the upper one corrects this man and places on it the power of the M, which is a desire to delay the abundance before the lower one knows about himself that his aim is to bestow, that is the upper one bestows upon the lower one good taste and pleasure in the desire to bestow. Again, is that clear? Yes, he actually explains here the transition from the desire to receive to the desire to bestow. Yes. Okay, meaning a person asks, if we go by the text, a person sees that he has no corporal pleasures any longer, he's not satisfied, he wants is seeking spiritual pleasures, and then is given the flavor from the desire to bestow. What is that flavor? Taste flavors. Tastes when he feels that he's attaining something from above that has a lot of pleasures. Also before that he wanted pleasures, he just said, I have no more pleasures in corporality, I want spiritual pleasures. Yes, now he's not telling him that he's giving him spiritual pleasures, but the taste and the desire to bestow in general, meaning he seems suddenly feels that bestowing is good, and it's better than receiving. He gets better by, he feels pleasure by bestowing, and this is something completely new he didn't have before, not from such an action. Though so actually why does the lower one need to ask first? He could have received it anyway. No, without the feeling of the deficiency the lower one can't receive. That's it, he didn't feel a deficiency to bestow, he felt a deficiency for a different pleasure, and he suddenly received the deficiency to bestow. Where is this sit? Where is this settle? This vessel that he prepared. What is where is this vessel that he prepared for this thing from his previous actions? Differently in the previous action he felt that he no longer has pleasures from corporality, no longer satisfies it, and he's looking for a greater pleasure, and then he starts seeking a desire to bestow. Yes, what prepared him for that? What's his part in all this? That according to the root of his soul he wants to attain the desire to bestow, to resemble the Creator. Okay, so it's like by the root of the soul. Yes, thank you. What about? Or his father's in the hospital, and he's supporting him, right? Now he's connected to the lesson with us. Okay, may have good health. Let's keep going. Excerpt number 5. Only after he achieves this degree called he's rewarded with other phenomena when he comes to a higher state. That is at that time he has no consideration of himself and all his calculations and thoughts either. Truth, in other words, his aim is only to and can know himself before the true reality, where he feels that he must only serve the king because he feels the exaltedness and greatness and importance of their king. At that time he forgets, meaning he has no need to worry about himself, as his own self is aimed as a candle before a torch before the existence of the Creator that he feels. Then he is in a state of lishma, meaning contentment to the Creator, and his concerns and yearnings are only about how he can delight the Creator, while his own existence, meaning the will to receive, does not merit a name whatsoever. Then he is regarded as bestowing in order to bestow. Okay, no, well, read, you have it. What we just read. 5. Only after he achieves this degree called lishma he is rewarded with other phenomena when he comes to a higher state. That is, at that time he has no consideration of himself and all his calculations and thoughts other. Truth, in other words, his aim is only to annul himself before the true reality, where he feels that he must only serve the king because he feels the exaltedness and greatness and importance of the king. In that time he forgets meaning. He has no need to worry about himself, as his own self is aimed as a candle before a torch before the existence of the Creator that he feels. Then he is in a state of lishma, meaning contentment to the Creator, and his concerns and yearnings are only about how he can delight the Creator, while his own existence, meaning the will to receive, does not merit a name whatsoever. Then he's regarded as bestowing in order to bestow. What do you want? I don't understand. Well, over there, no, not you. Behind you. The greatness of the Creator is according to what a person depicts to himself, or is it something that upper also opens before him? No, only according to the person, according to what a person, whatever he depicts for himself. So a person lacks, he is missing the connection to the Creator, and that's what he asks, to have more relation from the Creator. Yet now the Creator gives him pleasure in bestow, but it doesn't mean that he gives him a relation to the Creator, which is something that upper can't give, or can he? No, meaning who does this relationship come from the relation to the Creator? Yes, a person needs to develop it by seeing as much as the Creator taking care of him and drawing him and wanting him, meaning upon anything, whether it's reception, bestown. We have to always improve their relations constantly, has to be blessing, thank you. He writes that then he's in the state of a bestowing in order to bestow. Yes, what does he bestow? Exactly contentment, his relationship by what he just annuls himself after all that his great work already, annulling himself towards the Creator. But what does it mean that he annuls himself, and this is regard that he bestows in order to bestow, bestowing contentment to the Creator, because he's trying to distance himself from the desire to receive also the course, and he doesn't receive forces from this. Is that in the state of reception he receives forces from the Creator in order to be the bestower, in order to bestow. All right, where else were we? No, well, I wanted to ask about the work with the screen. Well, there's a mixed desire. He still wants to receive for himself. Then he prepares his man, and the Creator gives him a screen that detains the upper light. I didn't hear part of the I wanted to ask about the work with the screen and the degree of lishma when he still the desire to receive that's mixed there, and he prays to correct it. Then the Creator sends him the screen, the detaining force, and then when he goes through, then he feels the reality of the Creator. Then he feels like a candle before a torch. So the question is, does he no longer need a screen? Does it get refined at that point? No, he still needs a screen anyway. Still, so in bestowing in order to bestow, there's still a screen, of course, and in absolute love, meaning the last degree of love, does the screen get cancelled? Never. The screen exists always. The W receive is our nature. It'll jump right away even in the end of correction. There's a screen. I don't know, let's get there and then we'll know. Okay, maybe the friend wanted to attain, to ask that when we attain the screen, how do we work with the W to receive correctly? Maybe I don't know, ask him. It's not how we. Yes, thank you. It's also about the screen. The screen in a tent. When you're in a tea, you get a screen, whether from the world clear or from you. Even before you took one step, you have a screen. So the screen is given by the Creator. How can we in the 10, or can we increase the screen or be concerned? Can we build something? Can we help the process, or is it only from what's created between us? We need to try and work with the screens between us so that all the actions between us will be in order to bestow to one another, and in the connection between us, try to connect such that we will have the demand for the common screen, which we will aim towards the Creator. So it's a mutual action. One is what the Creator gives, the other is what we aim after we receive all the instructions from the Rash. The greatness of their friends, the greatness of the Creator, that's it. Enough. I already said 5 minutes ago. Everything, yes. The greatness of the Creator is that her result of annulment, or is the ability of annulment a result of the greatness of the Creator. The greatness of the Creator is the cause for everything, for all the actions that follow, but he's saying that we have to feel it well. Without feeling the greatness of the Creator, you can't do anything in spirituality. The question is, we're speaking about it, we increase the Creator between us, but it's not always something that's alive. That's so. When it's alive, you can reach something. So, when you reach a state in the work, that the greatness of the Creator is always there shining upon you. And that's why you can annul and do everything. Or is it something that we always have to awaken between us? You need to constantly awaken the greatness of the Creator every moment. Also, after you attain the screen, no spiritual action that you attain resolves you from being able to let go of it, and then go as one who receives some, how can we say it well, a like retirement fund or something, Athenian. No such thing. So, the Kabbalists always work on the greatness of the Creator as that greatest fuel, the most refined fuel, that it's the only thing by which we can do even the smallest action, until the greatest action in spirituality. In Ball, where do you take the force of Ball? From a Creator who illuminates to everyone, and then according to his greatness, the recognition of his greatness, you can receive from him this force, and to be somewhat like him. The question is if it's something psychological, that we supposedly convince each other that there's a Creator, he is great, it's worth doing the work, it's worth coming to the lesson too. And all it's like going out to battle, you form yourself up and go for it, but you don't really know, it's not something that you really it's, you understand, it's like going to a show, you see a magician, he does some magic, and you don't know how the magic happened, or if he really did it, or if it's just a trick of the eyes, or so. Here you reach a point that you can really connect to the greatness of the Creator, that you can really say that he's the greatest thing in reality. Or is it always a kind of just igniting each other on this topic and creating the spirits, and that what we have to work with, a game we do between us, and we all really want it to be true. That's how it is. Game, yes, it's written that the Creator plays with the created beings. So in every state in life, whether it's the best or the worst, we always have to come back to this game between us, that there's a Creator, and we just need to constantly scrutinize more correctly what this game is called, because it's like when you talk to people that don't study with us, eventually you reach this point, on what account are you doing all this game? Because Kabul has told you that there's a Creator, but you don't have you can only say, here come this feel, this game we're doing, how beautiful it is, how great it is, how much life it gives you, and that's the reason for our work. You don't have something you can really give that person and tell him no. That's called the point in the heart, where a person has a certain connection with the Creator, but we're talking about attainment eventually, no opening of the eyes. If a person develops it, then he already has a CLE, and in this CLE he attains YEK. So the condition is that a person has to reach a point that he feels that there must be something great, and he starts playing in it. He agrees his reality to all be affected from this greatness of the Creator that he doesn't have attainment in yet, but eventually he reaches a point that you really attain it. Of course, thank you. Did everyone understand what he said? In truth, we all talked about this many times. Yes, no. Well, what does it mean to respect the quality of B, the quality of Ball in our eyes? Is it appears very lowly, like love, all those things that come to us from the right side, therefore we need to strengthen them. That's it. Ken is actually rising a degree on the will to receive. It's a state and not in a sense. So I don't understand how you're saying it. I'll try and explain. He says that a person doesn't enjoy any corporeal forms, and he's searching for joy in spirituality. So that's going into meaning that the W to receive isn't focused on corporality anymore, but my will to receive wants to receive spiritual pleasure. That's called lishma. Lishma, it sits like a degree. 2, is it like the Exodus, no, 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 don't put me in, bring me into all these definitions of yours, okay, about the greatness of the Creator. I actually have to glue it to my current moment, my present moment. We spoke about something I felt was important, that point of zero that you talked about, that reset. I have to neutralize myself from my present and concentrate on what the Creator is bestowing upon me. This neutralization, any thought, everything comes from me. It kind of hides that greatness. Can you expand on that point a bit? I felt it was important that if I want to charge myself in the greatness of the Creator in my current moment, what should I do? Just to incorporate in the group and to be humble, lowly before them, and then you'll start coming closer to the greatness of the Creator. The feeling of the greatness of the Creator, the attainment of the greatness of the Creator only in such a way you have no other choice, chance to touch the greatness of the Creator. Okay, how do we stop that stream? How do you stop that stream and do that harking? That's if he wants to attain his point of connection from the internality of the heart to the Creator, then as he searches for it and finds it for him, that's always the point. The connection. Thank you. Heard you saying that we have to work between us in the 10 with screens and then reach state that together we ask for a mutual screen to work before the Creator with. Yes, what does it mean that we're working in screens between us? What does that mean? Just like between a person and another, and but we have to eventually reach such a connection at all. Those people that want to be together, they want to overcome their personal reality and enter the general reality. Is it right to say that this stage where we're all working between us and screen is that each one anals himself before his friends? Is that what it means now when we each want an all ourselves towards his friends? So in the past we talked about something called the center of the 10, but something is revealed between us. That's that common screen we were talking about, or was it another degree that we need to do? The common screen is it's a common stream which shares all our desires together. So the fact that he all together includes our desires and includes them together and works with that one point, that's already just like in an ascent from one degree to the next, where the sum of the forces operating on the lower degree become one force in a higher degree, and when the friends work as we said towards one another in a moment. Yes, what makes it become the common screen? What's the action, or what's the stage that it suddenly becomes, or maybe not suddenly becomes? How do we go from here to there? Through connection. Annulment, there's nothing more, and then it'll suddenly happen if I want to nullify before all the friends in the T and not feel anything other than how much I'm inside them. This actually leads me to the internality of the 10, and then I in this way come to incorporate in a higher degree, which is really the mallet of the higher degree, and this is how I proceed and continue only through annulment. I feel that we're ready for the stage that you're explaining about now. That's what I feel. Well, then incorporate together and reach the degree that it's. Do you have some kind of advice beyond connect or anal that's our permanent work we're doing in the 10? Is there's something in this present state that we're in today that we can tell ourselves we're 10, we're going for what the just depicted? Is there maybe an action we can do, or an exercise, something that will bring us closer, even one more step beyond what we're doing? And we're doing a lot and not speaking about our daily routine. I'm asking if there's something extra and a grand scheme of things there. Isn't there? Isn't? Can thank you. Can 10, let's say there's a 10 meeting, the friends meet on Zoom, they read some source. What should we all? There I'm sitting with the friends, I'm reading something. How from this do I reach that point of annulment towards each friend? Like you said, I want to nullify all my individuality, my private being, all my goals, states, desires of mine, and I want to connect to emerge from myself just like Rabash wrote, and then there's just the friends. there's no reality, but the friends that there's no reality, but the friends yes yes, and that's what I want to attain because it's there with certainty that I go out of myself and I'm incorporated in spirituality. When I sit and read with the friends, you have to think of how to come out of what are you just depicted, or is the focus on one thing to be in the text, with the writer with the friends. Again, exiting myself is by one thing to be with the friends in the text with the writer, or from the desire to just take off of myself all those self concerns I don't know when we each want to show the others some states in our personal desires. I don't know if it is that point of connection in the aspiration towards that center, or aspiring to shut off of myself all that weight of personal concerns, both this and that, also in lowering the desire to receive and clothing and the desire to connect and bestow. Thank you. Okay. Friends, it is precisely 500 questions. None. What between the desire to and the 10 and getting the forces to actually do it. So what prayer should we have? Hear what comes to you from within your heart. That's always the correct prayer. Your correct prayer, the real prayer. What are we doing? Next we're going to go to our social part. We're going to read from test study of 10. If we'll go to the next part of the lesson. We're reading in this study of the 10. F volume 1 chapter 1. We're in chapter 2 inner light item 4. Inner light item 4 relates to the words from above down and cascades within that space. Inner light item 4. Do not forget that we are not discussing corporeal terms whatsoever. Instead, the more refined is called higher and the thicker is called lower. Anything that can be perceived and as expansion of light from the emanator and its permeation in the emanated being is regarded primarily as a renewal of the disparity of form that exists in the emanated being. In other words, it refers to the will to receive that does not exist in where emanator and was renewed in him, because of that the emanated being is considered to be far thick, low, and inferior to the emanator. It is the disparity of form from the emanator that does all that and separates him from being an emanator to an emanated being. You should also know that this disparity of form, namely the will to receive, does not appear at once, but conceived slowly over 4 phases. Its form is complete only in phase 4. It therefore turns out that the entire form of its will to receive is very frail, meaning the first phase of the 4 phases. This phase is regarded as the closest to the emanator, more important, more refined, and higher, because her disparity of form is not as great as in the 3 phases that follow phase 2, whose desire is greater than phase 1, is regarded as farther from the emanator, thicker, lower, and indeed inferior to phase 1. Finally, phase 4 is the farthest from the emanator, lower, thicker, and more inferior to all of them. That is why the AR writes that the line extends from above downward, meaning from the first phase of the 4th, which is the lowest, the above matter of the above matter of above and below was renewed with the emergence of the line before the line illuminated, meaning during the restriction was no up or down there. However, after she received the light merely as a line, meaning not in all 4 phases, but only in her first 3 phases, phase 4 remained dark, without light. Only now did it become known that phase 4 is low, thick, and inferior, and that the 3 preceding phases are erected on top of her, according to their refinement and proximity to the emanator. However, during the restriction, when the light left all 4 phases at once, the discernment among the degrees has not yet occurred. Item 2. The words of the beginning of the line touches not its end at to the upper beginning of the line, extended from ins himself and touched it, although the conclusion of that line down at its end does not touch a light of ends. Again, item 2. From the AR, the beginning of the line touches ends, not its end. The upper beginning of the line extended from himself and touches it, although the conclusion of that Line does at its end does not touch the light of in's inner light. Item 5 clarifies the upper beginning of the line inner light. Item 5 meaning the first phase of the 4 phases. Item 6 in light relate to the words and touched it phase. I'm sorry. Item 6 phase 1 being the upper. R is the closest to meaning to the emanator. For this reason she is regarded as touching him, because the disparity of form in phase 1 is not apparent enough to separate it from the emanator. Item 7 inner light clarifies down at its end does not touch the light of in's. Item 7 inner light down at its end implies phase 4 the farthest and lowest of them all. She does not receive now the upper light and is therefore regarded as not touching the light of in's and as separated from it. We're going to watch a clip. Now the benefit in the lesson is only by absorbing the light. That reforms, that's what the C write us about, that's what the tar writes about. What is that light that reforms working against the evil inclination that separates between us? That's why the preparation to the lesson is that we prepare our evil inclination that it will be ready to receive its medication, remedy that will tire its forces as it's written the Torah tires the man from his forces, and then it gives us an ability to come close to one another. In this closeness between us we start attaining the quality of Bista, that in it the upper system is revealed, the upper world, the structure of the Creator. Come and see V in all its forms. That's why to prepare himself to the lesson means to reach a state that we must absorb the light that receives, that the light that reforms, and by that discover where we can't connect, and there is where we do make the efforts to connect, and in this way we reach the correction. Continuing to read item 3 from the words of the AR. The light of N expands to the worlds through the line. Item 3 the light of Enough extended and expanded down through that line again. The light of N's expands to the world through the line. Atom through the light of N's extended and expanded down through the line through that line. Item 4 the words of the air. All the words are in the place of that space that was, that has been restricted. For he emanated and created and made and formed all the worlds in that place of that space. Again, all the worlds are in that place, in the place of that space that has been restricted. Item 4 he emanated and created and made and formed all the worlds in that place of that space. Inner light. Item 8 clarifies he created and made and formed all those worlds. Inner light. Item 8 it implies the 4 worlds called, which contain all the inner innumerable world. These 4 worlds extend from the 4 above phases, from phase 1, from phase 2, from phase 3, and from phase 4. Item 5 the words of the AR. Prior to the restriction there was he is 1 and his name 1, and the mind cannot attain him. Item 5 prior to these 4 worlds there and was he is 1 and his name 1 in wondrous and concealed unity. Not even the angels that are close to him have the might and the attainment of ins, for there is not a created mind that can attain him, for he has no place, no boundary, no name. Again the words of the AR. Item 5 prior to the restriction there was he is 1 and his name 1, and the mind cannot attain him. 5 prior to these 4 worlds the and was he is 1 and his name 1 in wondrous and concealed unity. Now even the angels that are close to him have the might and the attainment of ins, for there is not a created mind that can attain him, for he has no place, no boundary, no name. Inner light. Item 9 clarifies prior to these 4 worlds. Inner light. Item 9 called, which contain all the worlds before all. That meaning before the restriction these 4 phases were considered to be one above the other, but as simple unity. The meaning of simple unity is that there is no differentiation of degrees or between the light and vessel, but he is 1 and his name 1. And I10 clarifies he is 1 and his name 1 in wondrous and Concealed. Unity in light item. 10 He implies the upper light his name. Implies. The will to. Receive that is necessarily. There his. Name is in Gatria. Desire implying the will to. Receive item 20 Inner light. Clarifies there is no force even amongst the closest angels to attain an item 20 inner light. This means that now after the worlds have been and created, even the angels which are spiritually the closest creations do not have attainment in an item 30 in light. Clarifies that he has no place, no boundary nor name 30 in a light. Since is it is I'm sorry since in it is. He is one and his name one, and since there is no place and vessel apparent thereat, all no mind of a created being can attain him, for there is no attainment without a vessel. Announcements, dear friends, this evening and weekly on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Israel time, the broadcast of the portion of the week will be taking place. It's meant for the broad public. Please share with friends and families. You can see it on the kite. Another announcement coming up this Friday, November 1st, using the out system will be only opportune for members that are active. We recommend to check and make sure that your membership is active so that you have no problems coming in. There's a support team called Help at C.1 for any issues. Please note, dear friends, this coming Sunday, November 3rd, there will a gathering of friends at 6:30 p.m. Israel time at the meal hall. In it will be broadcast on, and the AR system. Men and women from age 18 are invited to be physically there. Our broadcast schedule for today at noon. Afternoon lesson with Rav at 5:30 p.m. Reading the study of and at 7:30 p.m. Israel times. Our reading will conclude with the song La, 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 for La, 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 for La, 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 La.